New this morning, the United States Defense Secretary is in Israel to discuss war tactics with top Israeli officials. Lloyd Austin arrived in Tel Aviv today for a meeting with government and military officials on ways the IDF can scale back its offensive in Gaza. The Pentagon chief is expected to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant to discuss plans for a transition to the next phase of the war. Also, the IDF also announced that it's found the largest Hamas tunnel yet in Gaza. Take a look here. The tunnel is big enough to drive a car through. It's 2.5 miles long, and more than that, it's just a couple hundred yards from Israel's border. Now, the project to build the tunnel was led by Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar's brother, Mohammed.
Senators met on Capitol Hill with the Secretary of Homeland Security to try to hammer out a deal to lock down the U.S. southern border before agreeing to any more funding for Israel and Ukraine. Now, a majority of Republicans oppose any agreement on foreign aid unless it's tied to improving security at the nation's southwest border. With the House already on holiday recess, though, it doesn't look like any spending package will take effect at least before the end of the year. People in South Carolina are navigating flooded streets after that coastal storm passed through the state. It developed down in the Gulf of Mexico and then crossed the Florida peninsula, bringing some strong winds and heavy rain. A lot of roadways in downtown Charleston along the beach areas were flooded. Drivers were stranded or forced to leave their cars after driving through floodwater, which is something that we repeatedly tell people don't do. The storm even triggered a tornado warning for several rural areas. All right, once again, the Fox 61 Storm Tracker on the move. We've got our own rain issues to go through still here in Milford. I mean, it looks like a manageable amount of rain, but we keep getting these batches of heavier bands coming in one after the other. In Sam Samperi, I'm guessing it can be upwards of, what, 5 inches of rain in some spots?
I'm thinking we could get up to 5 inches of rain, especially in western Connecticut. Wow. Just looking at some latest numbers, and some of the numbers in the Oxford Waterbury area now up over 4 inches, Plymouth over 4 inches of rainfall. And of course, we've been talking about the wind. We're losing the power because the ground is so saturated, and you add the gusty winds of over 50 miles per hour, and that's what happens. You were losing power all morning long, and on top of it all, of course, with the saturated ground, last week's big rainstorm, and now this week, today's storm, we are dealing with some flooding rains. And right now, of course, we are on the weather watch alert right through this morning and the early afternoon hours until the storm is out of here. And even after that, we're going to have some long-term effects, primarily the river flood warning that's going on in western Connecticut. Look at these wind gusts, still 46. Now, they've come down a little bit right now across southeastern and southern Connecticut down into the 30s. What that means is low pressure is closing in on us, and the pressure gradient isn't as tight. Now, we have all kinds of warnings that automatically just went into effect here. We have the high wind warning going on across coastal Connecticut. We have the flood warning going on across coastal Connecticut. We have flood warnings now going on at the Housatonic up in Litchfield County, the Still River, and down through the Housatonic River there in Stevenson Dam. Last 24 hours, 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. Here are some newer numbers: 4.4 in Plymouth, 4.3 in Oxford. So 3 to 4 inches in northwestern and western Connecticut. Some of these numbers are still a little bit, an hour old, so add about another quarter, maybe even a half inch. But some of the areas now in central Connecticut is getting bombarded. Here is the latest flash flood warnings going on, and you could see that that's going on until at least 11:30, 11:45, 10:30 in the next couple of hours. But look at all this heavy rain right through here. This is moderate to heavy rain. So this will be expanded and extended, I think. And you could see that very clearly, some more heavy rain off of Long Island Sound. And essentially, we've had upwards of 3 to 4 inches. There's some storm reports, just an example of what's going on. We had the wind gust earlier, 60 miles per hour down in Fairfield. Some trees down. Of course, Brooke was right there in front of a tree. That it really has been just pummeled because the ground is so saturated. Again, a heavy tree like that, you get a gusty wind with the heavy rain. And flash flood warning again, 1145 now expanded into Middlesex County as well. There's that rain, that line of rain and thunderstorms. Seems like the lightning wants to die out. But I wouldn't be too surprised in the next couple of hours that you do see and hear some thunder. So put this into motion and you see that this model is not handling, this is the latest mesoscale updated model, it is not handling all the rain right here in central and western Connecticut that well. I do think we'll have more rain there. Look for periods of rain to continue into the afternoon, and by mid to late afternoon we'll shut it down, and then we'll finally start to clear out. So total rainfall amounts on the order of 4 to 5 inches. Again, we're already over 4 inches. We could see 5 inches. Could we go a little higher than that? Sure can. And what about here? 2 to 4 inches of rain. And again, some areas could get locally higher months as that heavy band now works into the region during the next couple of hours before things try to kind of give us a little bit of break by midday before that last batch of rain moves in. Boy, what a storm and what warmth. We're in the 60s. We broke the record high of 57. Your Fox 61 7-day forecast showing you that after the storm, we dry out very nicely. Now, there's a chance for a light shower, but that means nothing because hardly anything compared to today's rain. And then notice, no Arctic air as we head towards the middle of the week. And the first day of winter, 42 degrees officially starts Thursday evening. Maybe a little cooler on Friday, but look at that, Tim. It warms right back up by Saturday and Sunday into the mid-40s.
So are we already ruling out a white Christmas already?
I'm going to rule it out.
Well, there you go. From Sam himself. Sam, thank you. Sorry, kids.